All right, taking off from the wine cabin in Breckenridge. Really thankful I had this place and feel like I kind of reset. My brain's feeling better, my body's feeling better, and ready to take on today's challenges. I went from Breckenridge to Copper today. I went over the 10-mile range. It was 9.5 miles from the cabin to the peak. I probably rode about a mile of that, maybe 1.5 miles. It was just a lot of pushing my bike, really steep, loose, rocky. It was hard. There was several snow sections. One of them I had to just go around. There's no way I could go through it. It was just too slippery. Hello, Marmot. Hello. Climbing up peak 5 and 6. Made it to a nice saddle here. Starting to feel like I'm getting somewhere actually. Got views of Breck down there. Just lost my view of Frisco the other direction. I'm currently at 11,846 feet. Got to go to 12,400 and some change to get to the peak today. Keep walking. I do feel like I had a good day. I feel like my body felt pretty good all day. Really crazy descent. It took me 6.5 hours to get up to the top of peak 5 and like 45 minutes to get down, which is just insane how much longer it takes to go up. Made it to the high point for today, above Breck, and Frisco's back there. 12,518 feet. I've been moving for a little over 6.5 hours, and I'm gonna make a guess that I've ridden my bike for about half an hour of that time. Mileage, I believe, is 9.5 miles, and I think I've ridden for, I'll be generous and say, a mile. But we're up here. Holy crap, that was a slog. Now I'm riding down to Copper Mountain. Hopefully it's rideable. rode about 18 miles today, about 5,500 feet of elevation gain, which is lower than previous days, but I feel better. I feel more positive about everything, and I feel like I can keep going. Fueled pretty well today, stopped in Copper and got a burger and just kind of hung out for like an hour and a half, and that made me feel pretty good too. So I'm camped about 2 miles past Copper on the trail, and tomorrow I'll go up Searle Pass and Kokomo Pass and possibly get into Leadville. The next day, I woke up from my campsite just above Copper Mountain and headed off down the trail. I definitely felt like I had turned a new page with my just mental focus and my physical strength. So I started up towards Searle Pass. I did encounter some rain and hail on the way up, but I made a wise decision to stop before tree line and hunkered down with a couple of hikers and waited out the storm. This proved to be really, really smart, because once we got up to the top, we met some hikers that had gotten hailed on up there. One of the hikers that I waited out the storm with and eventually made my way up to Searle Pass with was named Dina. And she was a thru hiker that was doing a non-supported thru hike of the Colorado Trail. That means she had all of her food for like 18 days or something like that on her back from the start to the end of the trail. This was not her first attempt. She was a mother of like 6 kids. She had a career, she had a family and everything, and she was embarking on this incredible journey. She was super, super inspiring to me. The route up to Searle Pass definitely had its hiker bike, but after doing 10 miles the day before, it really didn't seem all that bad. The riding between Searle and Kokomo Pass is some of the most fun that I had experienced on the trail so far. Pretty flowy, had some downs and some ups, but pretty much everything was rideable.
except for one stream crossing that was really steep. This is also a remarkable part because I started to meet a lot of CDT thru hikers as well as marmots. After Kokomo Pass, made my way down towards Camp Hale, and I had stopped to filter some water at essentially the bottom of the downhill. All of a sudden I looked up, and Dexter and Katie, who I had met the day I had come into Breckenridge, were standing right there with their bikes, and I thought I'd totally missed them because I had taken a break day in Breckenridge, but to see them again was really, really cool. We hung out, we had lunch, talked about our different lives and things like that, and it was just a really memorable experience and good friendship and fellowship there. I also got to see Camp Hale, the old military barracks, and this was something that I definitely was looking forward to seeing, and to see it in real life, kind of an eerie feeling, to be honest. The riding between Camp Hale and Leadville definitely has some minor climbs to it, but nothing huge. You do go across Tennessee Pass, and relatively flat and fast moving as compared to some of the other bits of trail I'd ridden so far. This is also the first time I'd seen a road in 2 days, and to be able to just pedal it out and cover some quick miles getting to Leadville felt good. It felt like I was really getting somewhere. When I got into Leadville, it was July 4th. Everybody was setting up for July 4th festivities, but there were no fireworks because the fireworks had apparently been sent to a different city on accident. I did take the chance to stop and have some pizza at a Domino's, where I took this lovely gem of a selfie. After eating dinner and cleaning off the mud from my bike that was all in my drivetrain, I camped off Forest Road and called it a day. Day 6 took me from Leadville to Buena Vista. Started out on some easy dirt roads, passing by the trailhead for Mount Massive, which is a pretty popular 14er. Then I hopped on some single track. Actually had just rejoined back with the Colorado Trail and the Continental Divide Trail at this point. This single track was really well maintained and rideable almost the entire time. This was probably the most rideable day of the entire Colorado Trail so far. As I made my way up, definitely got some beautiful shots of a small lake down below in the Mount Massive area. Pretty cool downhills. Started to see some aspens again. I love to see the aspens. After a few hours, I started to make my descent down to Twin Lakes. This is a really enjoyable downhill section. Pretty tight, and some of the switchbacks were just barely rideable or not rideable, but it was a part that I'd studied on the map and thought it might be pretty cool, and it ended up being really cool. It was amazing to go from the wooded forest down to like this prairie land that almost reminded me of the land around like Grand Teton National Park with the sagebrush. Took a quick stop at this lake and dunked my sun shirt again and put it back on, and that was a great idea because this next burn section was pretty dry. Saw some markers for where Collegiate East and Collegiate West breaks off, as well as where the CDT would continue versus the Colorado Trail. As I climbed up out of Twin Lakes, I looked back and saw some pretty great views of this area. There were no huge climbs this day or peaks that I got to really. It was just really good rideable single track, and it felt good to just ride my bike. This was just a very rideable day. Saw some beautiful wildflowers as well. Tried to capture that with my phone camera. Just beautiful colors. The section after this, I was actually surprised that this portion just had some overgrown areas and things like that. I hadn't seen this in the previous 200 something miles of the Colorado Trail. I was honestly surprised that there was that much overgrowth. It was fine, totally rideable and everything, but it had just been so pristine before that point. This just felt a little ragged in some ways, but I'm sure it's on the list of the Colorado Trail Foundation to clean it up. Made my descent down to the Clear Creek Reservoir. This is a small lake, but had actually more people on it with boats and kayaks and things like that than Twin Lakes. Then I hit the road on the way down to Buena Vista. I think I hit my fastest ever speed on a bicycle on this road. It was just super fast, low rolling resistance. After that, I turned on to a Forest Service road that led into Buena Vista. It sort of parallels the Arkansas River, and there's lots of cool kayaking going on and things like that. And then the Midland tunnels were the next cool thing I got to see, which I had driven through before, and I knew it would be really cool to ride my bike through as well. Once I got into Buena Vista, I needed a bike shop. I had a wobbly rear wheel, and I just needed some basic maintenance done to make sure I was set up well before the next stretch all the way to Silverton before I get another bike shop. I ended up meeting Ben Vold, who was a bike mechanic in the area, mobile bike mechanic, and he was just incredible and did awesome work on my bike. He was nice to talk to, and then he didn't want to charge me for it. I paid him anyways, but he was awesome, and it was just nice to talk to somebody and chat as I sat there in the hot sun and got ready for the next stint. I ended up getting a hotel in Buena Vista and spent the night kind of refreshing and eating a ton of food, getting ready for the next stretch. On my 7th day, I left Buena Vista feeling pretty good and rejuvenated, and I got a nice shower and everything like that. So I started making my way up towards Mount Princeton Hot Springs. It was a long road climb, which was just fine. And then I turned back off onto the Colorado Trail.
Seriously? You had to tell me that? It's haunting me how slow I'm going? Okay.
I just saw my first bear of the trip in the most odd of places, just in somebody's front yard in Buena Vista. It's practically the desert here. Well, what do you think? There were some good rideable sections with some decent flow, but also a healthy amount of hike-a-bike. And then a really fast dirt road followed by paved road descent into Mount Princeton Hot Springs.
I took a nice break in Mountain Princeton Hot Springs, had some food, chilled out, and just people watched for a while, and a lot of people were enjoying the nice, beautiful summer day. Started making my way back down the trail and encountered just a really long, hour-and-a-half long, sandy hike-a-bike where I was just having to step, grab the brakes, step, grab the brakes. I slipped and fell, just trying to stand up several times, and just got really, really frustrated, and just sort of stopped having a good time. After this, I just really lost my steam, and it just so happened that my wife happened to be sort of passing through on her way to Durango to eventually pick me up at the end in a few more days. I also had a decent little crash that was sort of spooked me, and I was also just thankful to be healthy and all my limbs intact and things like that, and it was just another reason to kind of call it there. So I ended up making camp next to a stream, chilling out and just trying to reassess everything, and ended up sticking with my decision. So the next day I rode about 15 miles to the Highway 50, where I found a nice place to shower and meet up with her, and the rest is history. Overall, great year on the Colorado Trail. Really glad I did it. I will definitely be back for more in the future.